The Spring Arbor Cougars are loaded with returners, including one of the best big men in the country. We're going to talk Cougar basketball. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Today we have Ryan Cottingham. He's the head men's basketball coach, Spring Arbor Cougars, playing the Crossroads. Coach Cottingham, one of the first interviews I did the year after they won the national championship was the first season of the show. He's always been a good friend of the show, and I'm glad to have him back on. They were down a few years after their national championship. You know, it takes a while to kind of reload when you lose a group like that. But last season, boy, they really surprised some people. They were still pretty young. They did lose some key games, but they've got everybody coming back, and that includes Gabe Niehoff. A lot of people are saying he might be the best big man in the country this season, but they literally have everybody back. We have Ryan Cottingham, Spring Arbor Cougars. Let's take a listen. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, I got Ryan Cottingham. He's the head men's basketball coach, Spring Arbor University. Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, it's great to be back with you. Thanks so much, Billy. Is it true that I'm your favorite Crossroads League coach in Michigan?
That's a trick question.
Well,
there's no other Crossroads team in. Yeah, you thought you were going to get me on that, didn't you?
Well, I just want you to tell everyone that I'm your favorite. So
okay, Coach Cottingham is my favorite Crossroads coach in Michigan.
You make me feel good, Billy. You make me feel good.
Just to put it relative, how far to Fort Wayne is it for you?
Yeah, we're roughly 90 miles. It's an easy drive, pretty much 2 roads. No, we jump on 69 and, head south. So it's easy.
Yeah. And then once you get to Fort Wayne, you can get to anywhere. A little bit further for when you play like Marion, though. But the drives aren't too bad then, are they?
They really are. Yeah, Marion and then Mount Vernon's our longest trip. And but those, it is what it is. We can't complain when you look at some of the travel that other conferences are dealing with. So it's no problem.
So, Coach, I go through your returners, obviously, before we talk. And I've been seeing this with so many schools, and usually I count up the minutes, and I just finally gave up. You essentially have all your scoring, all your rebounding, and all your minutes back. How excited are you?
Yeah, Billy, we're really excited because, you want to get old and stay old, and we were caught through the craziness of COVID and just with a young team, and we're kind of old school, and like nowadays with the transfer portal that's going on, this whole, we're not big into that whole transfer game, and so we're recruiting primarily high school seniors, and, which is good and it's bad because you need time to develop them, and so it's no quick reload, and so we've been in a rebuild, and we feel like we're finally coming out because, as you mentioned, we have a solid group of upperclassmen with experience. Yeah, our top 8 guys or 9 guys are returning, and then Eli White, who played his first 2 years before sitting out last year with an ACL, has logged a lot of minutes for us, and so we're excited to have him back. But yeah, we on paper we like where we're at right now.
Even with that, I mean, you've got a couple of seniors, but your main producers last year are now junior, senior, sophomore, junior. So you say you're old, but I mean, you're still, you're not that old yet.
No, this is true, but the majority of our guys, are upperclassmen. Of course, Dante Favor started last year as a freshman, and we'd project that to happen. He would be the only underclassman that would be starting, and then we'll have a few freshmen trying to earn their way into the rotation. But yeah, you're looking at juniors and seniors, and so that's a really good feeling. Just the maturity that they have, the perspective, and then they've been through it, so they can lead well for us.
I want to give you a chance to talk about your guys, especially like Gabe Niehoff, who really opened a lot of eyes last year. Travis Grayson. But you and I talked before we started about Ted Stowe, who was a student assistant there all through his undergraduate. I think you said 5 years. And you started to tell me his story. It's an amazing story, Ted Stowe.
What an amazing human being Ted is. So he was born in South Korea and was given up for adoption because part of it, he was born without part of his right arm. And he was adopted by a family over out of Kalamazoo, and they actually adopted multiple children from various parts of the world. And so he was homeschooled, going up homeschool, and then he came to Spring Arbor University, and he had applied for a student assistant or student manager position. And so we met with Ted and offered him a spot. And I remember his first year, and so he's left-handed, and he would come into the gym and just get shots up with his left hand, and hardly said a word. Was a really neat young man, but was just very reserved and quiet. And by the time he was in his fourth and fifth year, we couldn't get him to stop talking, Billy. I mean, it was just amazing to see his growth and transformation. But he was just a basketball junkie, just a savant, if you will. And so after he finished his undergrad here at Spring Arbor, he was hired on up at Lake Superior State up in the UP. And he spent 6 years there with Steve Hedinga, a good friend of mine. And he just continued to hone his craft, Teddy did, and was their associate head coach in their last year, if not their last two. And I'm telling you, it was a God thing bringing him back to Spring Arbor, because we had Jeff Beckman, as you would remember, who was one of our former players, had been with us for 2 years. Well, Jeff started a family, and then he got a full-time job in the local public school, and he just couldn't continue to juggle what he was trying to do. And so it was in the spring that Jeff informed me that he wasn't going to be able to continue. And 2 days after Jeff let me know, and I'm thinking, what are we going to do? Jeff was just phenomenal. 2 days after that, I got a call from Ted Stowe saying, hey, I'm leaving Lake State. I just feel like God's leading me in another direction. I'm applying to some various positions, and can I use you as a reference? And I'm like, Ted, I said, have you talked with Jeff recently? And he says, no. And I said, well, he's not coming back. I said, would you be interested in returning as our assistant? And he just paused for a minute. He goes, well, he says, I want to think about it and pray about it and get back with you. He was really contemplating should he stay in coaching or not. And he got back with me a week later and said, man, I want to take you up on that offer. And it's been incredible. He's already been promoted to our associate head coach. When I talk about analytics and a genius and a guru, all those terms, it is true. He is unbelievable. The film breakdown, he's a master teacher with our guys. I mean, it is incredible what he does, and our guys absolutely love him. And so the role he plays is pretty incredible, and he loves on our guys so well. And so the depth that we're getting is really, really good. And so just the timing, how everything's coming together for us as we've transitioned, as you talked about with our roster. Now we've got some strong upperclassmen experience. We add a Ted Stowe who's just extraordinary, and he just has a passion for these guys and for Spring Arbor University. It's really cool. So we're having a blast right now and excited to get rolling.
Coach, on that subject, you're getting quite the coaching tree. You talked about Jeff Beckman. He's over at Western now, and he's coaching girls varsity. Everybody knows Brandon Durnell's down in Fort Wayne at East Noble, coaching the boys. And then Paul Marindat, he's an assistant over where he's at in Forest Hills. You're growing quite a coaching tree.
Man, you're doing your homework, Billy. You know what it means? It means you're getting old. And
I am old, not getting.
Well, it goes fast, doesn't it? But it just, when you surround yourself with great people, and then you get to watch them grow and man, stretch, it's pretty awesome. I mean, Brandon Durnell down there in Fort Wayne, it's just in his blood. It always has been. I mean, when we talk about junkies, that's Brandon for sure. And yeah, Paul's been a head coach, and now he's assistant. Now he actually slid over to Grand Rapids Christian, which is a powerhouse program, and he's going to do really, really good things there. And then Jeff Beckman's got a loaded girls team here at Western, and they're going to make a deep run in the post if they can stay healthy. So just amazing young men. And it's pretty cool because those guys are going to be coming back this weekend for homecoming and lacing it up for our alumni game and
awesome.
trying to whip us. And so it's going to be fun. Hopefully no one gets injured.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of fun. So we're excited for homecoming and to see these guys again.
Is Western High School, is that your local high school there?
Yeah, it is our local. It's about 3 miles from our campus. They got probably just over 900 students, and so it's a real nice day.
Have you ever gone over and watched Beckman's teams over there?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, it was funny when he was in coaching. He's like, "I'll never coach women. I couldn't do it. I'll never do it." And you know, they just welcomed he and his wife Morgan just welcomed their second daughter into the world, and a healthy little girl. And Jeff's been great with those ladies out at Western. They love him. He loves them, and he's just doing a really outstanding job.
Let's talk about this team you have coming back. We'll start with Gabe Niehoff. He had an unbelievable season last year, 24 points, 8 rebounds, almost 3 assists. He shoots 60% from the field. Big dude, too. He's 6'9", 225. Just talk about his game and what he means to you guys.
Well, first, I want to tell you how grateful I am that he chose to come back. Because,
yeah.
You know, he certainly had other options. He's so committed and loyal, humble. Who he is as a person, his character, his humility is incredible. And then his work ethic. I mean, he's put in a lot of work this summer, so he's certainly not content with what he's done or what we've done in the past. And I know Elijah Malone, who, is the National Player of the Year, and everybody knows he's at Colorado right now and is projected to start and all these things is really good. But Gabe Niehoff held his own against Elijah Malone and any other bigs in our league and outside of our league, and is arguably one of the best, if not the very best big in the country. And so, but we know he can't do it alone. But he is a special talent and just a special individual, and we're grateful that he's a Cougar, and I'm grateful he's got 2 years left.
Yeah, he's got that size that is unique at our level where, he's tall, 6'9", but he's bulky, right? He's a big, strong guy. You get a lot of thinner guys, or you know what I'm saying. It's a unique body for this level.
It really is, and he can run like a deer. Well, he just lifts all the time. He lifts a lot, at least in the off season. We control it, during the season. He was a football guy, a defensive end, and he just, for being such a nice, laid-back guy, I mean, he is nasty on the court and on the football field. He's just one of those competitors that's physical, old school. And so, but yeah, I mean, he's just chiseled. I mean, there's not much fat to him. I think he's, 6% body fat when we tested the guys. He takes great care of himself in terms of what he's putting into his body, the sleep that he's getting. He monitors everything, and so the discipline that he has is incredible. And to see him now developing as a leader and being more vocal has been really cool. And even the relationship with Coach Stowe. I mean, Gabe Niehoff has a very high IQ and is very intelligent, and he's always wanting to know why and in depth. And so as things are starting to click for him mentally, it's just taken him to another level. So we're excited to see what that looks like here as we tip off at the end of the month, end of the month. And
then you've got a couple of really experienced guards who produced well for you last season. Travis Grayson, he played 34 minutes a game, 16 points, and then Trey Cottingham played 30 minutes a game, 13.7 rebounds. How's Trey get all those rebounds at 6'1"?
Well, I think you may have that.
Did I read it wrong?
Have that wrong. I think you may have read. I think the minutes are probably right. I don't think the rebounds are, but certainly as I think about Travis.
No, you're right. You're right. 2.2. I don't know. I read the wrong line. See how unprepared I was?
No, we all slip, and so that's. I'm glad you're human, Billy.
Well, why isn't he getting in there and mixing it up and getting more rebounds?
Well, we want him in there mixing it up and getting more rebounds. Doggone it, get in there and put put your elbows on some people. But no, Travis Wright will be his third year starting for us at the point guard spot, and I thought really took a nice step during the second half of the season for us, and we'll need him to continue to lead us and be our floor general. And so his growth has been really cool too, just as a person, his leadership and seeing big picture. And the reason Trey Cottingham got so many minutes, as I had mentioned, Eli White, who's his roommate and good friend, tore his ACL last July. And so we were thin at the guard spot, and I thought Trey Cottingham really that second half of the year made significant strides for us. And so now with Eli coming back, we've just got some experience and more depth, and that's a good thing. So and then I think people sleep on Kevin Robertson, who's a senior 6'6" wing, and he has a chance, I think, to have a real breakout year. His practices have been just outstanding so far in the preseason, and he can do a little bit of everything. He can defend, he's putting it on the floor, he's finishing at the rim, he's knocking down the perimeter shot. And so just remember that name, Billy, Kevin Robertson. You heard it here first.
Yeah, he's a big guy too. He's 6'6", 205, and he had a pretty productive year last season as well. But he's looking really good in the preseason, it sounds like.
Yeah, he is. Again, he's got length and athleticism, and he's just matured, and his understanding of the game has continued to grow. So we've got high expectations for K-Rob, as we call him.
You know, Coach, I want to go back. You spoke for a moment about, you won the national championship in 2019. You had a couple years where, and then COVID came, and boy, and it took you a couple years to get everything turned around. Last season, you still, what were you, right around 500, but it was obvious that you had got the right people there, and you were going to be back where you wanted to be. Talk about that slog getting back, because once you win that national championship, everybody thinks you're going to do it every year. You know how that is, and you work to get those guys back, and you just talk about all the work that went into getting the program back to where it is.
Yeah, Billy. It's really hard, right? And that's where you have to just stay focused on your purpose statement and your core values and what matters, and not focus on the outcome, but continue to focus on the product, on the process, because the outcome is just a byproduct really of the process. And so as we want to continue to recruit high character young men that are committed to pursuing excellence, on and off the court. And so we know we have a proven formula, but it doesn't mean it's easy to stick to it, because you still are going to look at that scoreboard. And as we always say, our motto is winning is always our goal, never our purpose. But right. It's hard. It is really, really hard. It's hard on the young men. It's hard on the coaches. And because in our culture today, everything's defined by, whether it's how much money you're making, or how many wins you have. It's just, in this immediate gratification culture we're in, and we're saying, man, this is going to take time, and we're going to have to water this and nurture it, and it's going to grow, but it's going to be slow growth underground for a while. And now we're seeing the fruit of our labors. It's pushing through, and hopefully it takes off now at a rapid rate, because it's been slow and steady for sure, but we're grateful, wouldn't want it any other way.
Is it any different going into a season? You have a team, a lot of people are expecting pretty good things from. People around the crossroads are all talking about it. They're reading headlines, they're reading newspaper articles. Is there anything different that you need to do to get a team ready that is expected to win?
Well, and you say expected. I mean, so the Crossroads League is just unbelievably good and competitive. In the preseason, right, it doesn't matter. I mean, certainly Indiana Wesleyan will be the team to beat, as they, all the coaches identified them, and rightfully so. Greg Conagle, one of the best there is, across the country at any level, and Alford there at Huntington's got a really, really good team, and people are going to say Grace lost a lot, and they did, but Scotty Moore's done just a remarkable job, and he's got Ian Scott, who's really, really good, and you guys run some great.
That guy is I think he's going to be the surprise in the people around the crossroads know what he can do, but that guy can play. I don't think people realize how good he is.
I know, because he's been in the shadows. They just had so much depth, and they've got some young guys now that are going to spread their wings, and so Grace is going to be really good. But you go right down the list with Marion and Bethel, of course. Pat Knight. I just find it fascinating. As a kid, I was an Indiana fan, right, because I loved Isaiah Thomas, and then it was Steve Alford, and so I watched Bobby Knight, and then Pat Knight and I are about the same age, but I recall watching him, and so to have him and Corey Alford in the league is really just a cool thing, and just adds a little something extra. So expectations, we want that, right? I mean, we're just going to approach every day the same. We're going to put on our shoes the same way and focus on the process. And we're not worried about what other people say or think. I mean, you've got to play, and if you're not going to win it based on what your personnel is. And so that's nice. Our guys can feel good about it. But if you're gonna be distracted by those things, you're going to be in trouble and set yourself up to get beat. So our heads are down, and we're going to keep moving and try to enjoy every day to the fullest, and just get a little bit better, and just love our teammates and each other along the way.
You were teasing about being the only Crossroads coach in Michigan. You are the only Crossroads program in Michigan. What are some of the pluses and minuses of being in Michigan versus in Indiana?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, Billy, the Indiana basketball is just no joke, right? Just so serious. The way the perception with the young kids and families growing up. Again, it's how it's always been. We're talking about Indiana and Bobby Knight. Everybody just had revered that program and what he did for so many years. And then of course now you've got Purdue and what Coach Painter has done there, and Notre Dame. And so that's presented some challenges being the only Michigan school. So how do we maintain our identity when we're playing majority of our games out of state? And yet, when I think about the WAC, and you've got Cornerstone and Aquinas and Siena Heights, we're able to play all those, in Madonna, we're able to play all those schools in our non-league schedules. So we did, we just kind of flopped that from way back, I think in 2004 when we left the WAC for what was, before it was even named the Crossroads League, but when we were that only Michigan school. So yeah, I think there's pros and cons. It's just all how you look at it. It's just the attitude and the mindset. And so we love the league and are excited about it, and we have to continue to raise our level of play, because we're trying to keep up with what these guys are doing, and they're phenomenal, and these players are they're big time, man. It's high level basketball.
What's the mood on campus and around town? Do you have more people stopping you in the grocery store asking about the team?
Well, there's always certain people that are in the know or want to know, and so, which is great. We're excited that people are interested in care, and what's neat, Billy, as they get to know our young men, they want to know about them, right? Them as young men, as people, and as they have cultivated relationship with these guys and seen their growth and maturity, and that's what's so rewarding.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's you've heard me say it a million times. That's to me the big draw to NAI basketball is not only the players, but you get to know the families and the coaches. It just is a big family. And then if you're old like me and you've traveled to all these gyms a bunch of times, you get to know a lot of the opposing fans and their families. So it's really something special. It's something you can't get at big time TV basketball, right? You can't even get near the court versus get to know anybody.
Right. Well, it's become such a business, right? And again, it's filtered down to a certain degree here at our level, but it is. And we want to keep that first thing first, and then the relationships that goes with it. And so we're fighting hard to hold on to that philosophy and to our culture, and because it's so much more than just winning. And
as you get ready here, you're starting to wrap up practice. You're going to be playing games here pretty soon. Play. What is it? Cornerstone. Oh, that's Yep. Anyway, you play in that WAC challenge. And so as you get ready and you look at this team, you watch them start to work out, you watch them start to come together. What do you think are 2 or 3 keys for Spring Arbor Cougar basketball?
We have to be better defensively. we have to be able to apply more ball pressure. It's just like in football, if the quarterback, right? So we're Detroit Lions fans here in Michigan, and when Jared Goff has time in the pocket, he is very, very accurate and dangerous. But you put pressure on him or any other quarterback, they're not nearly as effective. We have to make some teams uncomfortable with the ball, because last year I thought that was a weakness of ours, the ball pressure, and then defeating screens went right along with that. And then on the other side of it is you got to value the ball. We got to be better at taking care of the ball, because if you're turning it over against these teams, and especially if they're live ball turnover, the good teams are going to bury you. So you better defend, and you better take care of the basketball to give yourself a chance. And so we're really locked in on that right now, and hopefully that'll be evident when we open up with Cornerstone, who's got, I think, 8 seniors, including 2 fifth-year guys back, that and the culture that they have of winning under Kim Elders, they've been as good as anybody, right?
They're crazy.
3 national championships. I mean, it's as good as it gets, and so we'll be tested. We'll be tested early, sure.
I always look forward to that Crossroads WAC Challenge. It's a great way to kick off the season. I'll be keeping an eye on that. You're going to go down to Indiana Wesleyan for that this season. I'll be at Carroll College that weekend. That's
nice.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, shoot me a text. If we win, shoot me a congratulatory text. If we lose, don't reach out to me, Billy. Just leave me alone so I can process, would you?
Absolutely. But Coach, we'll stay in touch, and you have those big wins along the way. We'll get you on and get you into our daily show. I always enjoy taking a couple of minutes and catching up with Spring Arbor basketball. And you've always been a great friend of the show, and I really appreciate that.
Well, you know how much respect and admiration I have for you. I think you're just incredible. Your heart, it just bleeds how you just care about people and want to invest in young people. And so thank you for what you do. And I don't know how many NIL deals you've been offered, whether it's Fox or ESPN, but I'm grateful you haven't forgotten the little folks of the world, the lonely guys here in Michigan. But I'm grateful that I'm your favorite in Michigan, that's for sure.
The only NIL deal I get is when I beg my wife to let me buy something. No, my wife has the patience of Job. You can just imagine, right? I'm on the road almost every weekend in the winter, and
unbelievable.
Yeah, so it's just fun. I mean, it's just fun. I can drive, Coach. I can drive when I interviewed out Colby and Eastern Oregon. I did that all in one day, out to Caldwell, and then I backtracked. Wow. I backtracked to Eastern Oregon, and then I was home by 10 o'clock that night, and everybody in my family was mad at me, but I got it done in one day.
Well, Billy, as you know, and I want to be careful, but behind every good man is a great woman.
Absolutely.
Right? And so yep. Sports, at the end of the day, and I think you're probably a really, really special individual, but I would think your wife is probably, has gone past you, and you're lucky to have her, and I would say the same is true for me. And I think about my wife and the sacrifices she's made. I mean, I'm now in my 26th year, and it's my 30th year overall of coaching, and she's just an absolute rock star. And so, wow, I can't give her enough praise, and very, very thankful, and you're in the same boat, obviously.
You know, Ryan, and I want to say this again, I do this every year, and I think everybody should. If you're a fan of a program, you should take 2 minutes to go up to the spouse, because that family suffers through basketball season. Suffer might not be the right word, but they sacrifice. And I think we need to acknowledge that sacrifice, especially at our level. You don't have 25 assistants and a film guy, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I always try to go up and thank the spouse, because that family certainly sacrifices.
Yeah, for sure. I agree wholeheartely. Well, Billy, I still think one of these days you and I are going to get together, maybe go on vacation or something with our wives, or I'll hopefully see you in Kansas City. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a way out there this year with the team, Billy. Don't sleep on the Cougars just yet.
No, you definitely not. I mean, you guys, when I talked to Greg Tonigal the other day, we were talking Crossroads, and that was the first team he brought up was Spring Arbor. He says, you better get him on. They're the team. They're going to be good. So.
Well, hey, Tanner, they might be able to win the MAC or the Horizon. He's so loaded right now. I mean, how do you lose Javen Buchanan and Childress and get better, right? How do you do that? And then I just think about Kyle Mangus. You talk about some players that he's had. Holy cow, Tanner, good night. He's done amazing.
Yeah,
there.
He's done a great job. Yeah. Yeah, him and
Is
Jeff
he ready
Clark.
to retire or move on? I wish somebody would offer him a lot of money to go somewhere else. You know what? How do we get him up there? Let's get him out of Indiana.
No, they're building a new basketball center. He's not going anywhere.
Hey, you're right. He's never going to leave now. I'm so disappointed in that. Oh, dude,
yeah, you need to build
great.
something like that up there in Spring Arbor.
Well, we're content with our little humble little field house, the Matt McDonald Athletic Center, and we'll just make it our little home advantage.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time. I always enjoy talking to you, and we'll talk more when the season gets going.
Sounds great. Always a pleasure, Billy. You are one of the best. Have a great one, Billy.
Yeah, thank you. That's Ryan Cottingham. He is the head men's basketball coach, Spring Arbor Cougars. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, please like and subscribe this show wherever you watch or listen to it. It helps a lot. And if you have a question you'd like answered on the show, just send me a note at cascadehoopstalk@gmail.com or just shoot me a DM on Twitter. I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy your day. We'll see you next time. Yours truly, Billy D. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAI school because NAI basketball is the best entertainment value in America.